Hey guys, I hope I still have your attention. Methods can kind of get long. Again, my name is Zach Baxter, and to visit my website, go to www.zachbaxter.com. Like always, we'd like to announce our sponsor, RockyNet, for all your co-location, data server, and cloud infrastructure. Please visit rockynet.com. All right, let's get on with part two. So, in this tutorial, we're going to look at how to pass arguments by reference, how to use reference parameters, how to do value returning methods, and a Boolean method. We're going to talk about it real quick, and like always, we'll have a short program at the end to kind of wrap things up. All right, how do you pass an argument by reference? When you want a method to be able to change the value of the variable that is passed to it as an argument, the variable must be passed by reference. There's two ways of doing this. Use a reference parameter in the method, or use an output parameter in the method. Reference parameters. Instead of just copying the argument value, it is referencing the value. Referencing parameters are great for two-way communication. So instead of it just taking the variable and just making a copy of it, it's actually referencing it, so it will actually be changed in the program. Here's an example. We use the private void example reference, and again, we have to use the ref, ref, and then int x, and then we're going to set our x to 0. So whatever the program had before for x, it'll now be 0. So in this instance, we established int x would be 100. And then once we call this by example reference ref x, x will be set to 0. Output parameters. Output parameters are very similar to reference parameter, except the following things. An uninitialized variable can be passed into an output parameter, and a method that has an output parameter must be set the output parameter before the value is finished executing. So let's look at the example below. We did private void example output parameter. And instead of ref, we're going to use out int x. We're going to set our x to 100. And here we don't have to establish what x is in the beginning. We just have to declare it. So we do int x, and then it brings in a blank value, and then we establish that as 100 once the method's run. Value returning methods. A value returning method is a method that returns a value to the part of the program that called it. The value that is returned from the method can be used like any other value. So the example below, we do a private int value returning, and then we do int x and int y. So there'll be some kind of numbers like 4 and 6. And then we do a return. And so then we do return x plus y, so that'd be 4 plus 6, which would be 10. And then a Boolean method. A Boolean method is simply a method that returns either true or false. So we got private bool, fun stuff, and then I put int x, int y, and then I put an int new value equals true, and then return new value. And so if we use an if statement in the program, we do if statement fun stuff, and then we got to put references in there for number 1 and number 2, and now return a true or false. All right, let's jump into our program real quick. This is our program. I did two different things, a reference parameters and a string parameter. If you want to take a second and put all these buttons and pause it and make the GUI interface look like this, just add some text box, list box. So basically we enter in a number, let's say 4, and we hit submit, and then it'll show the x equals 4 before the change name method, and then x equals 100 after change method. So this is just showing reference parameters. Not very interesting until we jump into the code. And this is a string parameter, so we'll put our first name and middle name, and then last name, and then create it. So it'd be Zach Lee Mike. Not very exciting, but again, it's all in the code. So we'll exit out of this, and we will open up the submit button real quick, and then I can show you. So this is the button click for the submit, and I put in just an int x, so I establish it up there, and then x equals into parse because we need to parse the text box, and then it'll show a list box dot item add. So I said x is, and then x should just be whatever you added into that text box before the change number method, Now we call the change number method, but remember now we're using a reference to x, so we're going to reference that. And now when we reference x, we change it to 100. The program comes back, and then in the list box, it'll show that it's 100 now. Pretty cool stuff. And then for the full name, we look into here, and I establish a string for first, middle, and last. And I set first, middle, and last equal to those text box, first, middle, last text box. And then I do full text, which is the right here, this one, is equal to full name. And then I entered in, this is the method, the full name is the method, and I entered in first, middle, and last for the strings. And if we go, went too far, right here, as you can see, it's just a private string. Make sure it's string because it's all string variables. And then full name, and then it's string first, string middle, string last. And then we return basically the first plus the middle plus the last. We return it in the full name, so then full name, and if we enter in those, as you can see, we put first, middle, and last, and then you get your full name. So if you want to pause it here to make the GUI, and I will go up from the top and go slowly down so you can write all this code and practice at home. If you have any questions, obviously go visit my site and visit our sponsor at rockynet.com. I hope you guys enjoyed methods, and we'll be back with some more. Thanks. Bye.